Welcome to Slasher Sunday, Fear Street, 1994. Obviously, we are finally covering these on a spoiler discussion. We covered them week to week when they were being released in spoiler-free discussions, and we had said we'd get to this eventually. I would have liked to have watched all three of them before we did this.
Yeah.
Right? Just so that we have more context for what's to come.
Yeah.
I think that would have been better.
I think so too.
But we can do that in our 1666 review. We can really kind of get the full spectrum.
Yeah.
And then we'll be all right.
Yeah.
All right. So for right now, and yes, we have seen the other movies, but it's been a couple years.
It has.
And my memory on them is like okayish.
Yeah, mine feels okayish too.
I remember some stuff, but I definitely don't remember everything.
Yeah, definitely not.
Looking forward to going back.
Me too.
So, first thing I want to say here, and I probably should have watched our reviews as well.
Yeah.
a lot of lamenting here of the things that I should have done, but I didn't do. But just to kind of see what I went over already, but screw it. Those are old videos. People want to, half these people probably haven't even seen those damn videos and don't even remember what I said. I don't even remember what I said.
I don't remember.
And I said it. So if you didn't say it and you remember, then you're better than me. But I'm going to say this. This obviously to me is not only geared towards, but inspired by the Scream generation. Like, whilst watching this, I'm like, okay, I'm not a Scream fan, and this feels very screamy and Scream inspired, and like Scream fans made this. This is that generation, right, that grew up, because that's what we're starting to get, right? It's always the fans of that generation. You go 10, 20 years later, and then those are the people making movies. Yeah. Right? Obviously, when I was in the 90s, a lot of the inspiration was coming from, like, the 70s and the 80s and whatever. So now we're in that era where, people are in that Scream. But when I was, like, I would say in the 2000s, it was, like, 80s inspired. Yeah. Right? You're starting to get a lot of that. But now we're into the 90s. And unfortunately, the late 90s horror for me was terrible. And I'm like, oh, no. Let's not go that way. Good thing is, I still like this. I still quite enjoy this trilogy. I think it's a fun trilogy. Yeah. But it's still not my style of slasher, right? Because the kills in this are mostly lame. There's no nudity. Right, it's very much it's a product of like the 90s. It's that like really shiny, pretty, at least with the kids, and this is probably where it's not as 90s. The kids in it aren't all like Abercrombie and Finch, or like, Gucci models. Yeah. Right. So that's one difference, right? When you look at like the cover of like I Know What You Did Last Summer or something, or like Valentine or whatever, you got like Denise Richards, and you've got like literal freaking models that are on there, or and that's not the case here. So at least with the kids that are cast in this, while some of them are, most of them are good looking or fine looking, like it's Hollywood. You're always going to cast like good looking people. These aren't like, as Derek Zoolander would say, really, really, really ridiculously good-looking people. No.
I like the style of this. I don't remember what I said initially. I'm pretty sure I liked it, though. I know we liked all of them. Oh, yeah. They're good. But, they're like, fun. Rewatching it, I don't know. I definitely really enjoy, like, the aesthetics and everything of this. Yes. I really like the look of everything, and I liked the dynamic between all of the friends or the kids, and I like the way that the killers and the slashers look. Like I really enjoy. I know that I do remember that when we were finished with the series, we both wanted to see more of some of these like other killers that we get hinted at, or we see like glimpses of them, like in these flashbacks, like the milkman and like whatever. And so I really want to see more of that, but I don't know. I enjoyed this, and I think the kills are basic for sure, but like there is one kill at the end that I like a good amount, and yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean the bread slicer kill is fine. We get a little gore from it in the at the aftermath after it's happened. They kind of cut back to it for a second. You see some gore there. So like that's the only real gore from the movie. Other than that, it's all just kind of like stab wounds.
Yeah. So
and stab wounds. I mean, like you just see a knife like enter a shirt and then come out with blood on it. That's the lamest shit ever. That's like as lame as slashers could possibly be. If all your slasher movie has to offer in the gore department is like a stab and some blood, that's lame. But it's not like your movie can't be good. Obviously, Halloween, right? This is my favorite friggin' movie ever made, and there's no gore in that at all. Right. So it's not absolutely necessary. But would I like Halloween even more if it had gore in it? Yeah, probably. But that's just my own taste. It's not necessary. Okay. Let me just make sure really quick. But yeah, okay, that's what I thought. So the kid in this, the one who wears the shorts with boots.
Yeah.
The way he acts and the way he talks, he reminds me a lot of Logan Miller from like Escape Room.
Oh.
And Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse. He just kind of talks like him and acts like him. He even looks like him to a degree.
Yeah.
But it's not him. I was just confirming that it was not him because I didn't want to say that and be like, wait a minute.
It's him.
You know what this movie kind of reminds me of tonally? I would compare it the most to of anything. This is obviously more R-rated because this one I'm going to refer to as PG-13, but it's like an R-rated version of that, and that's Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Yeah, it does. It's definitely geared towards teenagers for sure.
Yeah.
Which is totally fine. Like I like all kinds of. And this isn't really entry level horror, I would say, because like I think if you would never like if you
it's like the next step up.
It's like the next step up for sure because of the kills at the end and some of the like content, I guess, like with the drug use and everything. I think that it's a little bit more for like maybe older kids, but I lost my train of thought.
You could keep this PG-13.
You could, if you cut out the kills and some of the, like...
Violence.
The violence.
You wouldn't have to cut out much of the kills. The only thing you'd really have to cut out is when you start to see the head going through the bread slicer and then the aftermath shot of it. Maybe the slash across Maya Hawke's stomach. Maybe. I don't know if that'd be approved for PG-13. But, like, everything else, I don't know. I feel like that would be okay.
Well, and his axe in the head, too, that would have to go.
Because I guess.
He gets, like,
it's just, you're talking, like, take a few curse words out and edit maybe, like, 20 seconds of kills.
Yeah.
And this would be PG-13. Right? And it would be the exact same movie. Like, it really wouldn't change this film much. Now, I do remember that the next film has a decent amount of, like there's sex being shown.
Yeah.
I don't remember there actually being nudity. There might be. But that's when you start to get into like, oh no, this is just an R movie. And so I think that with this franchise, they were like, no, we want to make it R. Yeah. But it's like, this is what I don't understand and I'll never get. Like, if you're making a movie for Netflix and you don't have to get an approval from the MPAA, right? It's going straight to the platform. You don't have to market it much. You don't have to get it approved into theaters. You don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. And you can take that marketing, because you can market it on your own damn platform and be like, we're releasing an NC-17 or an unrated. They don't even have to send it to the ratings boards. They can just say unrated, and go like the Terrifier 2 route and just be like, it's an unrated director's cut, for the hardcore horror fans, right? And they can promote that, and they can really get a good audience. And then you can even have some disclaimer or something when you go to press play on the video, like, just, for the pussies out there that need that kind of shit. It'll be like, oh, for the pussies out there, this has the, really bad violence and yada, yada, yada. Do you still want to watch this movie? And the pussies should say no and fuck off, as opposed to like looking at that and going, that's not appropriate, and they shouldn't even have this on here. Fuck you. We're adults, and we can do whatever the fuck we want.
That's true.
I hate that. Yeah. I hate censorship so much. And with a platform like Netflix, or especially something like Shudder. Oh, yeah, Shudder, especially. Shudder. Like, anybody who has a subscription to Shudder, if they're upset about the level of violence or gore or something in a movie, they can absolutely get fucked. Like, I would straight up go to their house as like the CEO and tell them to get fucked to their face. No way. I'd be like, bro, do not subscribe to a literal horror streaming platform and then complain about violence and gore. Because Shudder should be able to, if they really want to get an even bigger base, right? They need to go and produce some really graphic content that appeals to the hardcore horror fans. Mm-hmm. Make a real slasher, like a Terrifier 2. Mm-hmm. Make stuff like that and throw it on the platform. Why they like go after like R-rated stuff or censored stuff? I genuinely don't understand it. Mm-hmm. Like, fuck the marketing. It's your own platform. And it sells itself because of your base. They're already looking for that content. You literally just have horror fans. Nobody's subscribing to Shudder unless they're into horror.
Yeah, I mean...
Right? It's not like Netflix, where it's like everybody has Netflix. It's straight up Shudder, right? So, but regardless, with something like a Netflix, I don't get it. Like, why does it have to be R? Why does it have to be censored? Why does anybody have to? Because I guarantee you there's filmmakers on there that are like having to fight against what can be seen and what can't. And it's like, but why?
Yeah.
Why? Market it that way. Market it as hardcore. Right? They don't give a shit anyways. Netflix makes 6 trillion freaking things a year these days. They put so much content on there. To have a few things that are hardcore for like, to get people like us to get excited, it's just good for business, in my opinion. Anyways, moving on from that, with the kills in this being so tame, I just sit back and wonder, is it the filmmakers? Were they like, nah, I don't actually like gore. Then don't make a fucking slasher movie. Go make something else. If you don't like gore, don't make a slasher movie. If you don't like porn, or if you don't like sex, don't make porn. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just dumb to me. A slasher movie is about the slashing. That's what people are there for. Nobody goes to slasher movies for the fucking story. Right? That's not what we're watching it for. Now, if the story's good in addition, awesome. It's an added benefit of like, oh, cool. That's like a bonus.
Yeah. I do think the story in this is good, though.
It is, but god damn it, man. Why can kills just not be better in these movies?
Yeah.
I swear to you guys, I promise you, I will not make a movie without the raddest kills if I ever make one. And I don't care what the studios say, whatever. I will somehow circumvent my way around the powers that be. I will figure it out.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay.
It really drives me insane.
Yeah.
I love my kills.
I understand.
Anyway, let's get into the movie. All right, so in the beginning we get Maya Hawke, obviously, from Stranger Things. And in the next one we get Sadie Sink. I'll have to be looking out for other Stranger Things alums here, but those are the two that are right there in the forefront of my mind. I don't remember anyone else.
I don't either.
Maybe.
But maybe there is.
You think that the mall in the opening of this is the mall from Stranger Things season 3?
Maybe.
I mean, it's Netflix, right?
Yeah.
Like, why not? It's the 80s.
It's possible.
Oh, well, this is the 90s.
Yeah,
you dress it up a little. It's
yeah.
not much of a change.
No, not really. Yeah, it totally could be.
I didn't see any, like, thing that made it look the same. I just figured Netflix has, like, a mall set.
Yeah.
And they're just like, everybody
That's
just films there.
Too, yeah.
It would make sense to me. Why not? They have books in that bookstore from Robert Lawrence instead of R.L. Stein. R.L. stands for Robert Lawrence, so it's a cute little nod. And the book that she purchases is Wrong Number. I want to say, God, I think R.L. Stein has a book named, like, Sorry, Right Number.
Oh. I don't know.
Something like that. Or maybe that's
book.
like one of those point books of that time. Like a Diane Ho or freaking, not Christopher Pike. I don't think that's him. I own every Christopher Pike book. Or D.A. Atkins or any of those guys back in the day. I swear somebody had something like that. But anyway, the opening of this, when the killer comes after her and she's running from him, and then we get the shot from behind when he, like, comes over behind her and stabs her, that is, like, ripped straight out of Scream with the Drew Barrymore death.
Sure, yeah, it's like definitely the same type of kill.
Well, it's just
and the angle and everything.
Yes, I see it as a straight up homage.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure it is. Which I'm fine with. I love Scream, so, like, it doesn't bother me to see homages like that.
Did the skull mask in this look like anything to you?
Yeah, it looks obviously a lot like the skull mask from Season of the Witch.
Yeah.
Which I've thought before when we saw it initially, and then obviously throughout while we were rewatching it, that's, like, all I think of. It's a cool mask. It looks really cool. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I think all of the killers, like, I really like the way that all of them look. And I'm, like, interested in all of them.
Would you watch a movie on these killers, like, individually?
Oh,
Get
sure.
their own spin-offs, like the Conjuring universe?
Yeah, well, that's what we were talking about with when we finished watching these when they came out, is that we were wanting to go more in depth in that.
I
like
want
a Conjuring universe type of idea.
I want the kid who's, like, bashing people in the head.
He
That's actually a good kill.
Yeah,
that actually looks pretty brutal.
That was really gnarly. He's scary. And there's, like, I remember there's something with him later. I don't know what it is. It might just be him, like, walking in the field or something. But there was some shot that I remember really creeped me out. So, but yeah, I like the mall opening in this. I think it's a good cold open.
It's pretty standard.
Yeah, I liked it, though. I mean, it's nothing spectacular. It's not like, oh my god, that's so new. But I just think it's a solid cold open.
I mean, the only thing that makes it, like, slightly original-ish, but it's not like it hasn't been done before, is that the killer gets killed.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, he
now,
gets shot.
Obviously, they come back, but that's, as I said, that's, like, the ending of every movie, but then the beginning of the next chapter is, like, they just come back.
Yeah.
Right after being shot through the head or whatever, they just get up.
The killer never dies.
But the killer getting shot through the head in the very opening and then coming back, I've seen it, just not often. It's usually just like the person screams, the knife comes down, and then the title comes across the screen, like Scream or whatever. Like, you get that all the time, but like a cop or, a security guard actually having a gun and shooting them through the head, and that's like the opening, not very common.
Yeah.
Other than that, everything else is super standard. And then of course it being like someone she knew, right? It's the guy that she just saw like a minute ago, and he's coming after her is like kind of shocking to her, of course. So that's cool. It's a fine cold open. But it doesn't do anything to stand out it feels very Scream. It feels very Casey Scream opening, right?
I like that all the killers too, and like when people are possessed in this, there's like flies around them.
Yeah, a lot of flies. Because we see a fly
on his neck.
On his neck before he even turns.
Yeah.
So that's like him getting marked.
He's like being possessed at that point.
Right. So like the flies themselves are attracted to him because he's like got the smell of death on him. Is that what I'm taking from that? Or are the flies more significant in the sense that like they are what's contributing to the change?
I'm trying to remember if there was something else with the flies, like with Sarah Fear.
Yeah,
in the
that's
end,
why I was saying I want to watch these.
I'm hesitant to like respond because I feel like there was something important with them.
Yeah.
But I guess, I mean, for the purpose of this movie, it just shows that they are marked by Sarah Fear or controlled by her.
What do you think about that spelling of fear?
I like it. I mean, yeah, it's cute. It's like,
just
it's
silly
fear,
to me.
but
Just
it's
fucking
Fear
spell
Street.
it. Just spell it normal.
I mean,
just
it's her
spell
last
it
name.
normal.
So
just FEAR, man. Don't get cute.
I like it cute. I think it's very cute.
It's silly to me. It's super silly to me. I see it and I'm just like, it's like those people that call into the salon and they're like, my name is whatever, like some totally standard name. And you're like, oh, okay. And they're like, but it's spelled. And you're like, it has like 3 extra vowels and like, so you're like, what?
You're like,
why couldn't you just spell it normal? Why you gotta be stupid?
Why you gotta be stupid?
Yes! You know there's names that you get told on the phone. And it's just like a basic name. And they're like, oh, no. I spell that phonetically.
Right.
And you're like, bro, what?
Like, really? Yeah, there's definitely been some silly ones.
Like they spell W like actually like
2
double.
U's. Oh, double.
Yeah, they're like DOUBLE. Be like,
my name is Whitney.
Yeah.
W.
Yeah. Yeah, W spelled D.
H.
Jesus, that would be insane. And yes, that would be dumb, right? That would be insane. And I don't. Okay, this is a ridiculous like comparison because Fear is not that ridiculous. But I just when I see it, I'm like, come on, it's even called Fear Street, FEAR.
But
like,
that's why it's cute.
No,
Yeah.
It's just make it fear. Just like you're not hiding it. It's not like they're like, fear. Oh, like fear. Because like if they were pronouncing it Fier or something, then I would be like, okay,
it's
they
on
changed
Fierce.
because it's like close, right? But it's no. But that's just it. The movie's called. So why isn't the movie called Fear Street spelled like her last name?
Because it is fear, like afraid. No. Not like her last name.
But no. Why not just spell it Fear? Why they gotta get cute?
Why not?
Why? It's not. It's unnecessary. It's eye rolly to me. It's like
not to me.
Fear.
I like it. I think it's great.
That's
Fear, eye roll.
Yeah. Fire. Anyway.
I don't know what that one was.
And of course, I mean, this is my generation, right? This is when I was in high school, so like all the songs are very
nostalgic for you.
Yeah. And it is very weird for the 90s to be shown as like retro to me.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not that old, am I? Jesus Christ. Like, why does this feel like so retro? Right?
But it is. I mean, when you look at it, like when they're making like mixtapes for each other and like all that stuff.
All
like,
the technology.
People don't do that anymore.
The attire and everything.
Yeah.
Although the 90s style was definitely.
The style's stuck around.
Come back for sure. Sunnyvale versus Shady Side. That's like.
I like that.
That feels like something out of like that 100%. Don't even try to argue with me on that. This 100% sounds like something out of like Disney's Zombies.
I like it though. Like I don't know. It just has like it makes these movies have it has the R.L. Stine feel. It has the like Halloween like you're watching like I don't know. It give I guess the nostalgic is a word that I'm looking for, but and it's like reality adjacent, you know, because obviously like it would be really it's funny to think of two towns like right next to each other named like that.
It's just these movies, because they're based on R.L. Stine books, kinda. No. Mm-hmm. I don't know what books these are actually supposed to be based on, because there was like Fear Street books back in the day. I'd have to look back into them. I did read the Fear Street trilogy, the first, second, and third horror. Mm-hmm. I remember those pretty well, but that was like more contained on one house, not so much the street itself. But there was a whole collection of Fear Street books. Mm-hmm. I'd be curious on what of these are inspired by that, but I can tell you that they are much more PG-13, right? So when this was originally announced, I was like, oh, that'll be cute. Like, one step up from Goosebumps, mm-hmm. probably falling somewhere around the Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, although I think at that point that movie didn't exist. But along those lines of the kind of level of, film we were going to get. Mm-hmm. So it is surprising to me that these are R-rated for being R.L. Stine books, because R.L. Stine books are YA novels. And they're not R-rated. They're not meant to be. They're mm-hmm. meant to be read by like preteens. So I don't know. I do kind of find it. But to be fair, at the same time, the preteens who grew up on those are now in their 30s.
That's
and
what
40s.
I was gonna say. Is that like I think the film is. I mean,
but you wouldn't adapt The Wizard of Oz and do an R film because the people who grew up reading it are like 40 now, right?
No, but The Wizard of Oz
you usually match the material. It doesn't mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be The Wizard of Oz. Fill in any franchise, but like if you made something that's like a little more young adult and you made it R, like a more hard R. I wouldn't call this hard R, but an R-rated thing based on historically a YA level. It's an odd choice. Mm-hmm. I'm not disagreeing with it. I just find it to be an interesting choice to make it R. But as we said, it's like because of the audience, but it's still the material itself that they're drawing from is not R.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what the reasoning behind like making it R was, but I like the mixing of like the R.L. Stine vibe with like R content. So having things like this Shady Side and Sunnyvale and like Sarah Fear and all that, yeah. For me it works really well because it's kind of like a blending of things from my childhood with things as an adult.
Yeah, and that's fine. Just more of a. It's interesting they went in that direction. And I'm going to tell you this right now. If you're on a bus, a school bus, number one, I don't think, now this is the 90s, but I was in the 90s. I'm going to tell you right now that that's not how it was. But like, we always show this in movies where the kids are like standing up and like cheering and walking around the aisles as the bus driver's like driving on like a freeway or something. Dude, no. No, he would have, or he would have to freaking tell you to sit down. The fact that they're able to go into the back, yeah, and open the emergency door and throw things out the back, and the bus driver says nothing.
Yeah, that's definitely like
horse shit.
Yeah. I don't know what I mean. Yeah, they just were like, we're not gonna have them react, but 1,000% in reality.
But it's like you said, reality adjacent.
Yeah, exactly. They would be reacting if we were in the real world.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it doesn't matter. I don't really care. It's just one of those movie things where you're like, dude, what?
Yeah, it doesn't matter at all for the plot or anything, but it is funny because you notice it because it's so like it wouldn't happen.
Well, I got banned from school transportation because I opened up the emergency door in the back thinking I was funny. And they like kicked me off of that thing and were like, oh no, your kid's not allowed to ride the buses or anything anymore. And I was like, whoa, okay. So I actually have anecdotal evidence
that they wouldn't let you do that.
Correct.
Without consequences.
Correct. And I was young, man. I was in like 4th grade.
Oh wow.
I was like 10. So yeah, no, they don't play. So whoever this bus driver is, he must be pro Shady Side, like hardcore. Yeah, so a babysitter being hired to babysit kids, and what she does is has them bag drugs for her and is like very stern about being like, and don't take them because you'll die. Yeah. And then leaving them to be like, bribe them so that they can watch some like adult program with her.
Yeah. I know.
Dude,
that's like so...
worst babysitter ever.
It's funny because she's like, you know, that I don't remember her name. I know we literally just watched it. Katie, I think it is. I think it's Katie.
Kate,
maybe.
I think you're right. It's
she is valedictorian. Like she's she's supposed to be kind of like the brightest over at Shady Side, but it's funny because she's still like dealing drugs and stuff. Which I'm not.
But that's the front, right?
Yeah, like, you know, I don't think that any of the characters, as far as like the core group of kids in this, are bad. But you know, that's like kind of the whole thing with Shady Side is that like good people get into bad situations or bad activities because of like Sarah Fier's influence on them.
Kate's definitely questionable.
She's not a bad person, but she is very like.
Okay.
Like he says, she's not nice.
let me ask you. Oliver and Elliot are left with a babysitter. That babysitter makes them bag drugs for them.
Okay, I mean, like, that is bad.
Would you come and be like, oh no, she's not a bad person?
No, I mean, that's bad. It is bad. I'm not trying to make an excuse for, like, that being okay at all.
So let's just be honest here.
I'm saying that I think that because of the influence of, like I just said, of Sarah Fier on
Sarah
Shady
Fier didn't
Side,
make her make those kids bag drugs.
I'm just saying that I thought it was interesting that they have these, like, characters who are, like, a mix of, like, they're, like the boy, the guy, is, like, working for his family to, like, pay for everything, and we find that out at the end of this. But he's, you know, like, I just think that they're not perfect, and that's it. But you shouldn't make kids bag your drugs if you're babysitting them.
I don't think you should make kids bag drugs.
Yeah.
Period.
Right.
So it's not a good practice. If you want to bag drugs, bag them your damn self. But yeah, I don't know, man. Kate's definitely morally questionable, to say the least. The vending machine trick, you think that would work?
Yeah, on old school vending machines.
Beep, boop, boop, boop. Press these 3 buttons at the same time and everything, and it flushes it all out.
Probably at some point that was the thing.
It's possible.
But not now.
No.
Not now. You just have to break in.
Now they have like keys and electronic computers that they hook up to them to control them.
Yeah.
Right? They bring it with them.
Yeah.
But on an old one like that?
Yeah.
Maybe. Probably not, but maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know. That seems like movie bullshit, but it's possible, I guess. Did Sarah Fier also entice Simon? Is the guy's name?
Oh, okay. Yep.
Right? Mm-hmm. That's that kid? Let me make sure. Oh, what the hell? Yeah, that's him. Simon. Did Simon say piss on the wall?
No, he just wanted to.
Building?
Because they're in Sunnyvale.
Because they're in Sunnyvale, so they should just piss all over property.
That's not okay.
I was like, really, bro?
Yeah.
There? But he doesn't even make mention of that.
That he's in Sunnyvale and that's why he's peeing?
Yeah.
No, he's just peeing.
Screw Sunnyvale, pissing on like one of their signs or something. That would have made more sense. But just him pissing, like, I don't know. He's a disrespectful little idiot. I think he personally is a moron, and like, I am fine with him dying. when they're like, oh, he's brave and this and that at the end. I'm like, I mean, he kind of was, but mostly he was just an idiot. And of course, in these kinds of movies, you disagree with me on that?
No, I think he's an idiot for sure, but I don't know.
But he's supposed to be that character, right?
Yeah, he is. That's all.
But he's still an idiot to me.
Yeah, he's an idiot.
And not in like a, oh, he's an idiot. It's like, no, he's an idiot. I don't really like the kid. Like, I just don't like the stuff he says and does. I just think he's a disrespectful little moron teenager, like a lot of kids. And I just don't like those kinds of people. I guess I just don't like teenagers because he's probably embodiment of like half of them. Yeah, of course, in these movies, they always have to have the well-informed expert with all the newspaper clippings that are like put on the wall. I'm surprised you didn't have like the strings connecting them.
Yeah.
This is always the convenience. They always have to have this for exposition.
Yeah.
To slap the newspaper articles down, and he has like perfectly things circled, and it's like there's always it's like the odds that someone in this 5-person group has like all of the evidence of what's going on up on their wall.
The odds, well, yeah, I mean,
it's called convenience.
It's convenient, but I'm glad it's there.
So yeah, we find out they want Sam's blood, and then, as always, once again, here we go. The cut of the palm. It's always the knife across the palm. There's other places to cut.
Yeah.
And it's not in a really hard place to not only like heal, but also like you need your hands.
Yeah.
Like, hands are super important, and when you have a big gash on them, they become less useful to you.
Yes.
And in situations like this, you need your hands to be able to be useful.
Yeah.
And it just, it drives me insane that no one can cut any, like, I just cut right here, like on the top of your wrist, and then just push into it and bleed out of there. Like, this would be fine. This would suck. I mean, I don't cut myself anywhere.
Yeah, it would hurt.
But, like, this is an area right here. It doesn't have like any, it's not really vascular. I mean, there's some, sure you're going to bleed, but like, you're not going to like cut your wrists or something, right? You're going to cut up here, you're going to bleed some, but like the healing process, not going to be that complicated, and your hands, your mobility and everything. But it just doesn't look as visually pleasing.
Right.
Right? There's something about it that's like, oh, I don't know. I don't know what it is, but that's the reason they do it. But I'm always like, stop cutting your hands.
I know.
I want someone in the movie to be like, I'm going to do it. And they're like, no, don't cut there.
Yeah, just do it right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That will be in my film. All these things I talk about on the channel, I'm just going to make a list of everything I've ever said. I'm just going to make a movie out of that. All the stupid tropes, all the dumb things that I just want not to happen. I'm just going to make an entire sizzle reel of just that and that alone. It's not even going to be a movie. That's all it's going to be. It's just going to be like disconnected clips of just stupid tropes being subverted.
Okay.
And it would just be called Subversion the Movie.
Subversion.
And everyone's going to watch it who's like me, and it's going to be like, this is the greatest movie I've ever watched in my life. There's no plot. There's nothing going on. It's just dumb. All the dumb shit they put into movies.
But fixed. Yeah.
Or I can just start a channel where I start fixing the parts in movies that are dumb.
You could.
By just like inserting really bad clips of me like doing the opposite thing and being like, and then them going back to the movie. that would be fun.
That would be.
I'm not going to do it though.
Oh.
Yeah, I should, but I won't. But how much blood did they get out of this girl? Because like, they put it in the, yeah, it doesn't matter. If I bled a little bit into a bucket, and then you took 4 mops and you dragged it across an entire school, I'm going to tell you that water is not going to be that red that much.
I agree.
You'd have to put in so much blood to dilute it. It would be diluted so much by that point.
I agree that they probably did. So, like, it didn't really matter. I think that the fact that we see so much blood is just for visual for the movie. I get that. Because they were being chased when they only had, like, specks of blood on her. So they didn't really need a ton of blood. They just needed enough to be able to drag it around. So
I get that. I know it's a visual thing, but it's nonsense. The water would not be that red, diluted that much, and being ran through a mop. There's just no way. It would soak. A lot of it would soak into the mop's bristles itself, right? And the fabric of the mop head, right? So that's just silly to me. When I saw the amount of like red streaks that were going up and down all the halls, I was like, you know how much blood she would have to bleed, just even with dilution, to get that kind of red streak from so many mops streaking across that distance. These are like the nittiest of nitpicks. I don't care. But I'm pointing them out because they're fun. They're fun. That's it. That's the only reason. That's not a knock. People take that too seriously. They're like, oh my God, this guy's such a nitpicker. It's not a nitpicker. Okay? That is not what I am. Don't call me the N-word, okay? That is not what's happening here. What I'm saying is that this is silly, and it is our job as a channel to point out the silliness of it and have a laugh. It's silly. It is silly. And you know what else is silly? Here's a pro tip. We haven't done a pro tip in a while. If you're worried about there being blood on you of the girl that is there with you, maybe it's a good idea to do all of the work with her blood and then wash yourself.
Yeah.
Don't cleanse yourself of her blood, taking off all the clothes, washing your body, making out, jerking off, all the shit that they do.
Yeah.
Literally. But in addition to that, they then go cut her hand open and then take mops and splash water with their blood on it all over their fucking shoes and their pants, even their droplets.
Yeah.
These things can smell just the teeniest bit of her blood. You don't wash yourself before you start working with her blood. You wash yourself after.
Yes.
This was so dumb to me. They're like pushing the mop down and like hitting the ground with it, and I'm like, 100% water is spraying back on you when you're doing that.
Yeah.
Just getting the blood out of her into the bucket, you're getting blood on you. It's just stupid. It's like, why would you not do it after? But it's because this, they want to be in separate places with the mops at the moment, right? Visually, it's always it's storytelling, right? That's just it. You always have to look past logic for visual storytelling.
Yeah.
And that's always going to be the case with film.
Yeah.
But not my movie. Not my movie. It's not going to be visually pleasing, but people are going to sit back and be like, I'm not really liking this movie, but I don't really have any critiques. I don't have any nitpicks. I still don't like the movie, but I'm not going to nitpick it because all the logic is sound. That's all I care about. If people were like, I hated Jason's movie, but I will say there's no inaccuracies. There's no stupid things. That would be better to me than be like, I loved his movie, but this doesn't make any sense. This doesn't make any sense. This doesn't make any sense. I'd be like, I failed. I failed as a filmmaker. Shit. Oh man, when they turn on Sam and they're like, you gotta go.
Yeah.
Like
that was tough.
Just as callous as Kate is about it. She's just kind of like, yep, well, she's gotta die. And then like, they all kind of just sit there, even the brother, until he sees like, oh, there's a different way. Then he like jumps up and says something. And then all of a sudden, he changes all their minds so fast.
I know.
And they become so heroic instantly.
He's just like, he has to just be like, there's another way. And then they grab her and pull her back in.
I totally get it, though.
Because they don't want to kill her.
It's like, but it's not what she says, it's how she says it.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
It's about like, you need to go in that moment and be like, listen, I don't want you to die. This is awful. But realistically, we're all going to die protecting you. And I don't know, like, what do you feel? How do you feel about this? They're going to kill you anyway. I mean, there's nothing. We literally blew them up. And then they reconstituted themselves like a fucking T-1000 from Terminator 2, which was out at this point.
I mean, yeah, if they had approached it like that, she was already willing to sacrifice herself. So it just would have been nicer.
Sure, it just and you wouldn't get as much pushback.
Yeah.
Right? From anybody, especially her, if you came at it more empathetically.
Yeah.
If you're just like, listen, I don't know what else to do. We're against the wall here. Then you leave it to them. And then if they're like being stubborn about it and being like, no, I'd rather all of you die. Mm-hmm. Right? Then I'd be like, all right, let's throw the bitch out. But like, you got to come at it. And I get it. They're upset and they're scared, but it's not that. She's not acting scared. It's like, oh my God, we got to get her out of here. It's just like so blank faced, like she's got to die. It's like, man, you're heartless.
She's tough.
But then she becomes a hero 2 seconds later. When he's like, oh, there might be a way to save her. Then they're like, oh, okay, never mind. Let's put ourselves in danger again. And they both die.
They do.
The two that are totally for her going down are the ones that get killed. So I guess it's their cowardice, that gets the best of them there. And yeah, okay. So no matter what the movies say, it's not a good idea, obviously, to load yourself up with a lot of random drugs and then use some like miracle healing practice. And we're just gonna throw a bunch of adrenaline in you and that'll fix the problem. Yeah. So here's what's silly about this to me, because like while adrenaline might reverse some of what's happening there, like, I don't know, man. Yeah, we see it in like Pulp Fiction, right? Mia Wallace gets the adrenaline needle to the heart when she's ODing. In that though, I would assume she's still alive, right? The adrenaline is pumped in there and it's like really like shocks her system. But wouldn't your blood have to be pumping in order for it to get around your body? Wouldn't your heart have to be? I'm not a doctor, so I don't know.
That's a good question. I don't know either.
I would think that Narcan, as I had said, would be the thing to use here in this situation on that. But regardless, not like adrenaline, 5 shots of an EpiPen.
Yeah.
After drowning, that's
not
what ends up saving her.
Yeah, exactly.
But I was like, you completely went around the plan.
Yeah.
And then tried the method to get her back from the drugs.
Yeah.
Which I honestly think, like, once she was drowned and they brought her back, I still think she probably would die. From the drugs in her system and all the 5 shots of adrenaline in her.
Yeah.
I think she'd probably have a heart attack.
Sure, I think so too. I think it's like really unlikely that she'd have survived.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So,
but
I don't know. She does survive, and then she becomes possessed.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just when someone drowns, it's chest compressions.
Yeah.
Chest compressions. Okay. They've even talked about now. I'd have to look back into it, like CPR. I don't even know if they teach like the mouth breathing as much anymore. It's mostly just about chest compressions. Now the EMTs, they have like the bags, and they'll kind of pump it in. But I need to look into that more. But I'm not an expert on that. I'm calling bullshit on it, even though I'm not sure. It just seems wrong. All this stuff in here is like, I'm pretty sure she'd be dead by the time she woke up. The fact that they blame the deaths on their friends who saved her is like really fucked up to me. Like, when he comes and he says like, well, it looks like they did it, I don't know. I would have to personally be like, they didn't do it. And it'd be like, how do you know? And I'd be like, I can't tell you, but I don't know. Like, I can tell you it wasn't them. Like, I would try to defend them. I wouldn't care what the repercussions are at that point, because like destroying someone's legacy after they saved you is just evil to me.
It is. It's really messed up to do that to them because they like know the truth, but yeah, they could have come up with like a different story to explain what happened.
Sure, I mean they both used the fall, like slipped on some glass story.
Right.
They couldn't come up with they don't need to come up with it. I'd say, listen, Sarah Fear got some baby. You don't believe me?
We told you before.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
I like that they blow them up and they just kind of come back together. Mm-hmm. That was pretty cool.
I like that scene too.
As I said, everything's been done, so it's not like you can be original anymore, but still. And then the total like F you to the mom, kissing in front of him.
Yeah, that was great.
It's a good little fist pump moment. It's super cute, yeah. I'm sure it's like woke or something to people. I don't know how.
No.
Just gay people existing is woke now. It's literally like, if you exist and you're gay in a movie or in life, you're just woke. You can't get away from it now.
So silly.
There's a gay couple. Woke. What? Bro. There was gay people way before that word even existed. Anyways, moving on from that, I just get so annoyed every time. I have to even bring that up anymore. I shouldn't, but I can't help myself. And then, yeah, Sam becomes the killer. And we see this by the flies. The flies are back. And that sets up the next movie. So until next week, anything more to say? Any more nitpicks?
No, I wasn't.
Since you're being so nitpicky this week?
I was not the nitpicker.
Don't call me the N-word. I told you that.
I don't have anything else to say.
All right. All right, guys. Until next week.
Bye.